With all the strength left inside you, you pushed him away from you while breathing heavily and stood up. Monster. Your eyes were filled with anger and hatred for him. He wiped his lips while his gaze fixed on you. Try to disobey me from next time and you will see what a real monster looks like. Now eat that food silently. You were still breathing heavily and now you know that you don't have any strength left inside you and it can prove a disadvantage for you. You walked near the table and sat down while a smirk appeared on Jungkook's face. He walked to the bed before sitting on it. I guess I have to stay here until you finish. You didn't even look at him. Jungkook walked near Mr. Min, your father, before bending down a little. He was not in the good condition but a lot better than when Jungkook showed his cruelty on him. He was half dead but now he seems a little better. You have worked for us for a long time. You were a trusted man of my father, but then, why did you suddenly decide to betray most importantly, what were you planning? Mr. Min didn't say a word that made Jungkook continue. I won't do anything to you. You can come back to the gang and I will protect you from everyone. Just tell me everything, all the truth that you know. I don't know anything. Jungkook's jaw tensed up as he gritted his teeth in annoyance. I'm not asking you. Don't make me kill you with my own hands. Just spill it. What have you done with my daughter? Where is she? Jungkook's lips curled up into a smirk. Safe for now and she's with me. But if you get on my nerves, you will never be able to see her ever again. Don't do her anything. Set her free because she has nothing to do with it. I can make you open your mouth by using her. How can you say that she has nothing to do with it? Just like you are making me agonize to see my father, I will do worse with you if you don't open your mouth. Don't test me because you know what I can do. You are not with them anymore and I know that, so why aren't you just saying where is my father? Because it's near to impossible to take him out of that place. They will make it easy to look but once you get in, they will trap because their main target is you and not your father. He finally decided to disclose everything. Jungkook was surprised at first, then his expression came back to normal. There is nothing impossible for me. He straightened up. Tonight they will see the real horror and how dangerous it can be to mess up with Jungkook. Just because you free your father from them, don't think that everything is fine. They might have attached some tracking transmitters so that they can find your location and secret base. One more thing. Split the gang into 3 parts and release your father alone. Jungkook looked at him. He wanted to say thanks but just take another look of him before leaving. Mr. Min let out a sigh. He wanted to save his daughter but also Jungkook's father was innocent. He was nothing to do with this mafia world and that's why the agents targeted him to reach Jungkook. Your father was right when he said that it won't be easy for Jungkook to bring his father back. Although he successfully freed his father from the prison, but he doesn't find out that it was a plan. The moment Jungkook made his father sit in the car, it blasted. They have fitted time bombs in Mr. John's clothes, which he was not even aware of. Somehow Mike saved Jungkook, but he was devastated. They have never seen Jungkook crying like this. He was completely broken by this painful death of his father. He was so close to saving him. In fact, he saved him, but life has something else to throw at him and now he lost the only family of his. Mike and other gang members somehow managed to get him inside the car to go back to the mansion because the agents were behind them, so they have to leave. Appa. Mr. Min lifted his head up when he heard his daughter's voice. He thought he imagined it, but no, you were standing in front of him. Ryan, my daughter. You hugged as tears dropped from your eyes. Finally, I found you. How did you come here? Did Jungkook? You pulled back and shook your head. No, I found this basement by myself and no one knows. He has not been home since morning, so I used this opportunity. Appa, let's go from here. You held his hand, but your father stopped you, making you confused. Appa, we don't have time. I can't go, Vayan. You frowned. Why? Why can't you? Look what he has done to you. Let him come by himself. Then we'll decide. Go back to where you are living. Appa, what are you saying? Trust me, daughter. Things would be worse if we left like this now. Just wait and we will be free for a lifetime. I promise you. Just go back. Appa. He held your hands. Just trust me. Where were you? Your heart stopped beating for a second when you saw that they were all back. You thought Jungkook would find out, but then you noticed the condition of living room. Everything was messed up. Lamps and vases were on the floor, shattered into pieces, and the table broken. You saw drops of blood on those glasses and your heart started to beat so fast. You gulped and looked at Mike. But before you could say anything, you heard loud screams coming out of Jungkook's room. Along with the noises of breaking stuff, Mike looked at you. What's happening? He lost his father. The only family he left with is now gone. They all were sad about that. Jungkook may be a monster, but he never showed cruelty or innocence. Your heart dropped hearing that. You knew why he kidnapped you, so that he can get out some information from your father, and he was talking about something like the pain of staying away from a child or family. You can relate yourself to him in this because you also have a father who is left in the name of a family and you can't imagine losing him. You need to stop him. You couldn't hold yourself back and ready to leave, but Mike grabbed your wrist, stopping you. Don't go inside, he's not in a good mood. He needs someone. You freed your hand and walked towards his room without thinking twice while Mike followed but stopped near the door because he can't go inside. As you entered inside the room, you stopped to look at the condition of it, the same as living room, but Jungkook's condition was worse than that. You couldn't believe that he's the same guy, although you hate him with all your heart, but right now, you can't stop pitying him. He was looking like a complete mess, hands covered in blood, but he doesn't seem to feel the pain from that because the pain in his heart was more than anything. Without thinking twice, you went near him and put your hand on his shoulder, making him turn towards you. It's okay. Jungkook was blank at that time, too broke to think about it, and he genuinely needs his shoulder to cry, so he just hugged you before bursting into tears. He cried his heart out while you patted his back and let him use your shoulder. For the first time you saw that he's not that tough and merciless from inside. He's just empty and lonely, and to hide that emptiness he has worn this mask of merciless behavior. You were just petting him to comfort him. You never thought he has such a soft heart and a lot of pain hiding inside him. Mike was surprised how Jungkook didn't push you back, and for some reason he was happy. Only he knows what Jungkook has been through. Suddenly he stopped sobbing and you realized when you felt his whole weight on top of you that he has slept. Don't know why you were feeling so bad for him. It's just if your father was in his place, you would have died. Your father told him that how Jungkook became like this when he used to be a normal guy. He was kidnapped when he was a child and got separated from his family. Those gangsters took him with them and turned him into a monster. It's hard to imagine what he has been through in such a young age, but when he returned back by his own, he was a complete different person. He realized that he only has a father left by his side. His father accepted him after a long time, but then one day, he also went far away from him. Jungkook has never seen a moment of happiness in his life, and Mr. Min knew that he's not that cruel. In fact, Jungkook always donates the money to charity and for orphan children education for living. He's just a loner, but he doesn't show that, which made him lock his emotions inside. You somehow managed to make him lay down on the bed and straighten his leg. He cried all his tears, and now you could clearly see his wet, swollen eyes. Went to the closet and came back with a first aid box. He wasn't fully recovered from the wound in his chest, and now his hands were all injured. You cleaned them before bandaging them. You looked at his face and you really felt so pity. The fact that your own father told you that he has never hurted any innocent and he was after him because he knows where his father was. Are you okay? He asked when you came out of the room while you nodded before walking towards the couch. He must have felt a different feeling. I can't even imagine myself in his place. It's not at all easy. No one should feel that pain. It's not easy to overcome it. But what actually happened? Why he was blaming himself? Mike sighed before explaining you everything, and it was really painful to even hear that. He loves his father more than anything. Then he looked at you. Did you eat? You shook your head. Let me get you something. You shook your head. No, I'll eat with Jungkook. He needs care. He did all that with you, but still you are being nice to him. You are really great, Ryan. You looked at him. That's how I am, but I also didn't know his whole story. But now that I know, I can't stop myself from feeling bad for him. Hours later, you came back in his room with a plate of food in your hands. He was already up and was sitting on the bed all silent. You could see the pain in his eyes. The maids already cleaned the room while he was sleeping. You knocked on the door before coming inside, grabbing his attention. He watched you coming. You kept the plate on the nightstand and looked at him. It's time for you to eat something. Jungkook was surprised that even though he treated you so badly, you still gave him your shoulder to cry. He felt a warmth wrapped around him that time. From that time, he couldn't stop thinking about you. Don't tell me that you are not hungry because I've spent 2 hours to cook this food. Why are you doing all this for me? Do you think I deserve your care and sympathy? I don't know. Earlier my answer was no, but now I'm not feeling like that. You need help and I'm here to help. That's it. I just want to help you. He was just looking at you. The way you looked at his hands. Can you eat with those hands? But then you sighed and picked a spoon. Whatever happened with you was painful and should never happen with anyone. But things can't be undone once you make a mistake. But it can be improved no matter what kind of mafia you are. Whether you hurt innocent people or not, but you really hurt so many people indirectly. Try to become what you are from inside, an innocent man. Here, eat this and I hope you pay me back my kindness by releasing my dad safely. You said getting some soup in the spoon before extending towards him. What made you think that I'm innocent? You looked at him. I just saw you. A person's true self only reflects when he's in his lowest. You are not as bad as you show, but that doesn't mean you can be forgiven, but I can try. You brought the spoon near his mouth while he drank the soup. Why would you forgive someone like me who was harsh on you? That's the difference between you and me. Don't worry, you'll understand it once you try to become a good human being. He doesn't know what is happening inside him. He was mesmerized by your words. He was falling for you.